status ng Angkas bikers natin sa Cagayan de Oro. And also, regarding the surcharge, na ngayon natatanggalin na siya, how will it affect yung availability ng bikers, especially during peak season and peak hours?
So, dun nga sa presentation ko, Wilbert, no? So talagang it might affect the certain LCAs with our passengers have been enjoying, lalo na po kayo. We have to expect that. For CDO, we're doing everything. We've always taking care of our bikers, and we continue to do so. Again, at a later time, sana will be allowed to open for padala service in other places because padala naman is has no issues.
For now, wala po ng Angkas bikers.
Wala lahat, yes.
Ma'am, sige po. Tapos ina-acknowledge po yung mga nasa likod. Papunta po ako dyan later on.
Hi, Sir George. Good morning.
Yes.
Hello from UNDP, sir. Sir, I just wanted to be specific.
Hi, Joy.
Hello po. Sir, I just wanted to go specific. Ano yung nangyari dun sa Cagayan de Oro City? Paano nagkaroon ng operations doon yung Angkas? Yung sinasabi po ng TOTRPWG na mga nakukila. And ano ang assurance na ibibigay po ninyo na hindi yun nangyayari sa iba pang mga lugar?
Hindi siya nangyayari sa iba pang lugar, that's assured. But I'd like to kind of turn the question around, no? And maybe this is open for study and proposals that we can make, no? Since this is a study naman, is two areas, because yung study po natin, yung pag-review po natin yung batas, lahat yan, nationwide yan, hindi naman po yung Metro Manila or Metro Cebu. In fact, meron po talagang need in the second and third tier municipalities for this type of service because there are areas and roads that cars cannot go to, and you have skylabs and habal-habals that are plying the streets as we speak. So, baka po, that may be an option for us to open the study to areas like this, especially areas that have already clamored for this type of service. So, for me, I'm very hopeful na manganganak pa to eh. So, again, study yan eh. So, baka po hindi kami or ibang operator or ibang something, we can really create a comprehensive study that will not only look at the metro cities that have medyo traffic but also have many options, but also areas where there's no option other than two-wheel vehicles. So, ganun, pabaliktad yung question. And sana po, we can consider those areas, especially locations or municipalities, LGUs that have already expressed interest in this. In fact, I think sa Cebu, nagkaroon na ng executive order si Mayor Dabella for motorcycle taxis. No? So, talaga po, Ma'am Joy, we are in the beginning. Ma'am Joanne. We are in the beginning of regulations. We're in the beginning of a new industry. So mahirap, marami tayong pwedeng gawin. So hopefully we can address all of those areas that really require all of these different options.
May question. May follow-up lang si Salima and then si Edwin.
Quickly lang. Nag-submit na kayo ng mga pangalan ng 10,000 riders sa LTFRB and TWG. Yun yung sinabi nila yesterday. Paano nyo na-reach yun? Sino-sino yung mga yan? Ano yung criteria na ito yung mga ipapasok natin doon sa program?
It's very difficult, no? But I think, I don't know.
Space talaga.
Well, wala pa naman dito space. Kasi the transition was moved to January 17 to be able to finalize the caps. So I think right now, further coordination with LTFRB is required to see how we can work out, the remaining numbers. But marami pong consideration yan. Kasi hindi lang po yan na most active. Because you need to also realize that you have part-timers that augment your fleet. So it's a combination of, I guess, tenure. It's a combination of activity. There are some that have really low activity. In fact, you'll see bikers talagang nakakaiyak po. You'll see bikers at Facebook giving up their slots. Na part-time lang ako. So, bibigay ko na yung slot ko sa iba. So, natutulungan po talaga sila. So hopefully ano lang po to, short term, and we get to really do what's right for in general, no? Hindi lang po sa Angkas, but a cap for everybody, a higher cap for everyone. Kasi yung market po talaga malaki.
But nakausap mo na ba itong mga riders na hindi kasali dun sa 10,000? Ano yung pagkakapaliwanag nyo sa kanila na, I'm sorry, hindi kayo kasama dun sa initial 10,000?
Well, I'm not physically, no, but we have, like I said, we have a support system for bikers. Talagang binigyan mo ako na, pinapa-joke mo ako. So, hindi po siya madali, ma'am. So, we have a support system for bikers. You can't get them all in one shot, but we have started communicating already to them. Some of them probably may hear this for the first time. We have quite a large fleet. So, over the next few days, I don't know what's going to happen, right? Because honestly, we're here to work with the government, and the idea is to really provide solutions for all of these existing challenges that we have right now.
And can you take
Yes. Please, dyan naman sa
Yeah, good morning, George. Good morning.
Good morning, Edwin.
Good morning, yeah. It seems na ang lahat ng mga kaguluhan na to ay nagsimula nung bigla na lang may isang sulat na lumabas na LTFRB na ang in charge sa TWG. Meron na ba nakuhang sulat ang Angkas galing sa DOTR na nag-i-state na parang nilipat na ang chairmanship or whatever sa LTFRB? Kasi dyan nagmula ang lahat ng gulo na to eh. Nabigla na lang sila pumasok sa eksena, nawala lahat yung mga cost-oriented group, di ba? Nawala yung mga dating mga members original ng TWG. Dito nag-umpisa. Meron na bang nilabas ang DOTR na memo or whatever, or a written document na nag-i-state na si Asek Guardiola na ang in charge dito sa pilot project, dati kasi si Yusek Mark, di ba? Galeon.
So, dun sa bagong guidelines, nandun po yung creation ng TWG, that was December 19 pilot extension guidelines that was signed by General Guardiola and Asek Galvante from the LTFRB. But I have not seen yet the DOTR one.
So can we assume na pwede rin fake itong TWG na to signed by these two assistants? Hindi. Kasi nagmula ang TWG sa DOTR, George. I just like to emphasize to my...
And this is the first time I'm ever gonna say this in any of my interviews. No comments, sir.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Sir Edwin. I love you.
Meron pa po dito.
Hi George, Lawrence from Business Business.
Hi, Lawrence.
I have a series of questions.
Uy, series talaga.
First is, kanina you discussed dynamic pricing. Are you going to ask the TWG to reimpose it, or at least, as you said, play with the dynamic pricing on and off, maybe? I don't know.
I think my preference, from based on our experience, is to have it there and play around with the multiples. I will make a formal request when we start conducting the actual study already, when the dust settles po, no? Or maybe as early as now in this press conference. But yeah, we can play around with it. Again, study kinokontak natin, so sana open po tayo sa lahat, no? In reference to that. So that's the answer to your question.
The next question is, the TWG wants to stop the operations of all motorcycle taxis. And after the study concludes, now how do you view this, and what measures do you have in order to ensure that the 27,000 drivers that you have right now will not lose their jobs? And what will happen to Angkas if this scenario happens?
Again, it's very hard to comment on hypotheticals, or some, not hypotheticals, excuse me, please correct that. It's very hard to comment on something that hasn't happened yet. No? But I hope that with this study, we can come up with certain, I guess, instances, no? that will ensure a smooth transition from study to law.
So you're going to formally ask the TWG to extend it, or?
I don't know. Right now, I just want to kick off the study now and really get to the meat of the discussions on how we can move this forward.
It's just 3 months na lang.
Less.
Diba? So, of course, you have to make preparations. Kasi that's not,
But remember, bro, that there's also a study that was conducted for the last 6 months, no? Huwag naman natin baliwalain yun kasi may basis din yun for I guess initiating discussions with Congress and Senate on what transpired. So maybe it can be a combination of both. Maybe things can be done in parallel. I don't know, but Angkas has always exhausted naman all efforts, no, to ensure that the path to regulation is met, in the most efficient time without compromising the safety of the commuting public.
Sir, good morning. I like from the lifestyle money. Number one, TRO was issued last Monday, 72 hours. In your favor, it will end tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. What happens if LTFRB insists on the 10,000? Will you still be applying for an extended TRO?
I think that's the matter left for the courts. I don't think I can comment on something that's ongoing. So I think we should just let the courts decide on how that will move forward.
Also, Senator Baseball issued a letter that you will have a hearing next week. What are your preparations for this, your expectations, and what do you think the outcome would be the hearing? Would there be a finalization, or would there be something like an intervention already?
So basically for us, we are a resource person, so we will present Angkas updates as we have experienced in the pilot. That's what I presented to you guys. Hopefully that the committee will take it positively, and I think it's the first step in this new year, to start the ball rolling on getting the law passed.
Last week, during the president of LCSP, Attorney Ariel Linton commented something about the TNBS having a cap of the number of motors running. Would you concur, or would you comment about the 30,000? Instead of capping it into per player, make it like cumulative, because it's going to be the choice of the rider or the biker instead of putting it in one company or separating it by 10,000 each.
I think the position of Angkas is clear naman on that. So ideal sa amin yun, that the bikers get to choose which operator. In fact, if they want to choose multiple operators, then you will see that in other countries, the tatlo, dalawa, apat yung app nila. So I think that's what we prefer. Let's see on what transpires in the study, whether or not we get to look at these different scenarios.
Last question, were you able to look into the other riders na nag-join sa ibang operator kung ito ba yung mga bumagsak sa Angkas or what?
Marami na po kaming trained over 120,000 bikers, I can't really say anything in reference to that. I don't know that for a fact, but we've trained a lot of bikers over the last 3 years. Our failure rate is 63%, is quite high. So I'm sure there's a lot of bikers that have tried to apply again, and hopefully their skill level from the time that we failed them to now has improved significantly.
Hello, sir, can I ask, since you stopped operations in Jensen and CTO already, how many bikers from those areas have been displaced?
I honestly don't have the number to you, but text it to me. I'll reply. Yes.
But very minimal lang naman.
Yeah, I mean, those are very small markets, and the idea was really to do the padala service, and we want to do this with other cities as well. So, again, we need to take a look at the study and see how we can really address second and third tier municipalities that it not only uses motorcycles as an option, but as a necessity, in areas where four-wheel vehicles cannot reach.
How long do they operate for?
I don't know, a few months, I don't know.
Babalikan ka namin. We'll just get that documents. Okay.
Sir, Rocky of Tech Control. Sabi ni LTFRB, worried lang daw kayo dun sa mawawalang income, kaya against kayo dun sa cap po yung
No, worried kami sa community public. In fact, I told you the demand. No? Nakikita mo naman sa daan, kung may nakita kang dalawang Angkas biker versus 10 habal-habal. So, I think we're barely 15% of the market. The demand is very high, the need is very high. Suffice to say, we've been in a very, very uphill journey. We have sporadic operations. It hasn't been clean all throughout the last 3 years, and we've made significant investments in the space. I don't think this is the time for us to look at profits, and we haven't done so. What we've been doing is really ensuring that the safety protocols are in place. We have one of the highest, I think we have one of the highest safety standards in the region, and that's something to be proud of. And I haven't seen this type of setup anywhere else. The medical response team, the emergency insurance fund for accidents, the type of certifications we have, the doctor affiliates and hospitals. We're really developing that type of standard din. Sana yung Angkas standard will not just be the standard for the Philippines, but will be the standard for the region. And I think kaya natin to. Mataas po talaga yung standard ng Angkas, and we hope that the community public ensures that everybody meets the standard, kasi that's the only way that we can really effectively and safely operate motorcycle taxis, not just in the Philippines but anywhere else in the world.
Johnny?
Ay sir, Mike po, RGT.
Mike.
As ko lang sir, di ba, i-confirm ko lang po na yung 50% owned nyo po yung sa Angkas lamang yung ownership.
60.
60.
Huwag mong bawasan.
60.
60, yeah.
Okay. And then, another is, since na you're following na yung requirements ng DOTR and TWG ng LTFRB na mag-submit ng 10,000, meron po ba kayong message sa mga maiiwan yung 17,000 riders in public po para at least they will learn?
Well, sa akin, huwag po natin isipin na tapos na po na may iwan na po talaga sila. I mean, ako, hopeful pa rin ako na magagawa po natin ang paraan to. But despite that, contrary to popular belief, we have been complying over time. In fact, when it was given to us on December 20, December 22 was the partial list that we complied with, and then we've been complying ever since. So, I mean, rest assured guys, siguro naman may tiwala na po kayo kay Angkas, matagal na po tayo nagsama, diba? We may be very passionate about the safety and the riding public, but our firm belief was always to comply with the regulators and be part of the solution. Diba? From Congress to Senate to LTFRB to DOTR, this is not the first time po. But there have been misunderstandings and miscommunication. This is not the first time that there's been differences of opinions. But I think every single time we inch our way through. Diba? Every single time we're better off than when we were the last time. So that's what we want to impress upon the bikers. Hindi po namin kayo iiwanan. Never naman po nangyari yun eh. Diba? At yung tiwala nyo sa amin na pinakita nyo all these years and all the times that we went out to show the media, to show the people that we have the right to this livelihood, that this is a dignified right, we have the right to dignity to what we're doing. I know that in the end, we will win. the committing public will win, the bikers na gusto ng marangal na trabaho, magtatagumpay.
And then they are willing naman, you're still, pa naman darating time na pwede pa silang bumalik when it's regulated na, di ba?
Ang pinakamaganda talaga is we meet the demand to a certain extent. Alam nyo, even if lahat po ng kumpanya mag 30,000, that's still less than 50% of the demand. Think about it, guys. Right? If lahat ng kumpanya nagkakap ng 30,000, that's less than 50%. And it's not gonna be a riot on the streets and chaos on the streets because we know, marami doon, marami doon, part-timers. Di ba? Di ba? So, we know that pag nagbigay ka ng cap ng 30,000, hindi naman 30,000 yan sa daan eh. So, hindi tayo magiging chaotic sa daan na parang Vietnam na talagang 90% ng daan motor. Diba? Because it's a combination of private and taxis. Here in the Philippines, in Metro Manila, even if you give 30 cap to every players, it's still less than 50% of the market.
And we're okay with that.
We're definitely okay with that, guys. We are here to work with everybody. This cannot be a competition even before it's a law. In fact, this cannot be a competition even after it's a law because we have the entire country to worry about. We have the entire country to service. It's high time that all of the operators work together hand in hand in harmony, together with the regulators to make sure that this is successful, right? And again, we prefer a pool where the drivers get to choose. And if we increase the cap of everybody, that is still deficient of the existing market demand in the streets. So again, there are many ways on how this can proceed. And this is a study, so we can study all aspects.
Thank you,
Okay. Last question, if there's one more, and then we wrap up na para nagawa na rin natin yung mga stories natin. Any more questions? Wala na? Having none? So, last one. Habol.
The TRO will expire tomorrow. Yes. What are your thoughts about it? Mag-i-extend po ba kaya?
Well, I think magkakaroon yata ng PRO hearing. So, I mean, we just leave that, again, like what I said, let's leave that for the courts to decide. I really can't say anything about it. I don't want to be, to influence it in any way whatsoever. Ano tawag doon? Sub-judice.
Okay? So, thank you once again, everyone. I'm sure nasagot naman ni George lahat ng mga questions that have been asked itong mga nakaraan. So, thank you, and then we prepared small water splash for everyone.
Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you. Mabuhay po kayo.
And George, beginning today, you're accepting interviews na.
Oh yes, begin today. That's all interviews. Thank you. Sorry, the last few weeks.
Pwede na siya magpa-interview sa lahat. Okay.